let's discuss our question about the customer demand. How does it change in 2020? Do you feel that there are some changes now? And I will start from John. John, can you tell us some words? Yeah.
Certainly. Well, for mediators, the challenge is to get business because, certainly in my city, when there's a dispute, people think about lawyers only. So this is a terrible problem for mediators. How do you get people to change what they're doing instead of going to a lawyer to come to a mediator to resolve their dispute? So, demand is always going to be an issue for a while. And I'm so thankful for the Singapore Convention because I think it's going to give more awareness to the fact that mediation is actually an option for resolving disputes. I mean, people have a hard time distinguishing mediation from arbitration, from litigation. And I think that, it's incumbent upon us, the community, to get the word out. So demand is, primarily coming from the courts. And let me just say that, if I never go back in court to do a mediation, I'll be okay with that, as long as we get the other tools in place to work that out. And I myself, I'm an advocate for the telephone. I've been doing telephonic mediations now ever since the lockdown. The federal court here basically sanctioned ODR and the telephone. And so I went with the telephone, and it's been working out quite effectively. Now, granted, you don't get, it's an impoverished form of communication. You don't get the feedback with the nonverbals. True that. But it allows you to focus and concentrate more on the message, which is something that gets lost when there's a picture that goes along with the message. And so I'm a big advocate for the telephone. But in terms of stimulating demand, I think we all have to get the word out that mediation is the best way to resolve disputes. It's certainly the cheapest and most satisfying way to resolve issues.
Thank you so much. Andrew, what about you? What do you think?
So I think customer demand in the UK very much, I think I said the phrase before, depends on the gatekeepers to mediation, and that's the lawyers here predominantly, not exclusively, but generally speaking, most mediation, certainly the mediation I do, the commercial mediation, is in the dispute resolution sphere already. There are occasions, and I'm very much a proponent of early stage mediations, there are occasions when mediation starts early, but generally speaking, the majority of instructions I get are for disputes that have been in the hands of solicitors for some time. And so how it changes in 2020 and going forward depends very much on the messages that the mediation community gets over to lawyers as to the benefits to them and, more importantly, to their clients. The messages that Jane referred to in respect of the government is encouraging people to go to mediation instead of clogging up the courts, and we have 2 ex-presidents of the Supreme Court who are doing that. And that all should happen, but it all will depend on actually what happens in terms of if there is this avalanche of work, or if we go into perhaps another recession. And the elephant in the room, the ADR elephant in the room, is always the acute drop in revenue, which very sadly a lot of lawyers subscribe to. And so there is often a fear that if they direct their cases to, certainly in the UK, and I know from my US colleagues, it's certainly not the same there to such a degree, but there certainly is a feeling here at times that if I am a lawyer and all my cases to mediation, I will get a drop in revenue. That those who have embraced mediation, that doesn't seem to be the case, because they effectively operate in perhaps what could be seen as a 2-tier system, where they recognize those cases that they should be putting towards mediation at an earlier stage, and those which perhaps that they think or their clients think or want to stay in litigation. So I think it's a wait and it's a bit of a wait and see. I would like to think that this remote mediation train is now rolling and can only pick up steam as it goes, and that mediation will increase. But we are the whole basis of this conference is around coronavirus and COVID-19. And very sadly, it is going to be a case of watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Evgeny, maybe you can tell us some words about Russia, about mediation in Russia. What do you think about future, our future?
Colleagues, my English not so fluent as yours. It's my first conference where I English speak in person. So
it's okay, don't worry.
It's much better than our Russian.
How I see the mediation situation with mediation in Russian. With last 2 months, we begin to make mediation online. So I start this mediation as a conciliation. At first, with each party, step by step, use WhatsApp, video conference by WhatsApp. And then when they are ready, then we meet together in Zoom. So last month I had 2 mediations between, so Елена, help, between товарный знак.
Trademark?
Yes, conflict with trademark and conflict between арендатор и арендодатель.
Landlord and another part, another side.
So the mediation online will be in, and it will be more and more in use, mediation online. So we last 2 months we started to online education of mediators, and this is the result is very good. More than 60 mediators we обучили. Teached more than 60 mediators, and now we plan to organize conference in September in St. Petersburg and to show our results in this conference.